everyone and welcome to my channel. I am Thalita Crank, attorney licensed in Brazil, Juris Doctor and Master of Laws in the United States. And here we talk about building a law career as an immigrant in the United States. So I would like to start this channel talking about English. English as a second language, English as a requirement to study in an American university. So, a little bit of my background in English. In Brazil, our first language is Portuguese, our first and only, by the way. It's not Spanish, please. If you are not from Brazil and you need to learn something with me, Brazilians speak Portuguese, and we are very upset when people talk with us in Spanish because we don't understand or we don't know, we don't speak Spanish. We speak Portuguese. Anyways, that's the only language in the country. And any other language you need to learn, you will have to go to a private English school tutoring or having private classes to learn. So it's very difficult to speak more than one language in Brazil. Unfortunately, our country is still deals with economic issues, with poverty, with social differences that does not give the entire population the opportunity of speaking more than one language. Anyways, when I was around 9 years old, my mom, she doesn't speak English, by the way, but she understood that English would be very important in my life and in my career. And she wanted to give this opportunity for me to be able to do a master's, a doctorate, or anything else if I needed to. Because for those type of degrees, it's required that we speak English. Anyways, when I was around 9 years old, I went to a private English school, and I did that until I was around 17 years old. However, it was only twice a week, 1 hour each class, and I didn't have anybody else to speak English with me. So basically, that's the only exposure I would have of the English language in my entire years or weeks anyways. So I graduated in my private English school when I was 17 years old. I went to law school, and in law school I didn't use English at all. So I left law school, I was working in Brazil, and I wasn't being exposed to the language. So a lot of things that I learned when I was a child, I was just forgetting. And was in 2014 when I met my husband that I started to speak English again with somebody else. But it's not even again, because I wouldn't speak English with people in Brazil. I just knew the words. I just knew writing, reading, translating, and that was it. Speaking was my biggest challenge. So I got married. I came to the United States. I went back to have English classes. So first I went to a language school, then I went to Indiana University. Indiana University offers a English as a second language program for foreign people who want to come to the United States to learn English. And this degree, the certificate, it's not even degree, but the certificate can be used as a proficiency document you need to study in that university. So I did a program called PI, Program of Intensive English. I did it for 4 months. Was very good for me, especially because I was able to practice English, speak English with more people, and learn the academic English that was very different of all the structure I had learned before in Brazil. In Brazil, I basically learned English to travel, to speak, to pass my law school exam, but I didn't learn academic English, the English that I would need to go to the university. So in 4 months, since it was a very intensive program, it was full-time, and I was having all this exposure in the United States with just living here, I was able to advance a lot in my language skills. So first thing, if you think about studying abroad, studying the United States, you need to see your language. You need to test your language. Usually, there are two main exams that universities require as a proficiency exam to prove that you are able to speak and understand English. It's called Toefl and IELTS. Each university has its own requirements for points. What are the points you need to pass and what exam they require. It's very good. I always tell my students, go to the university that you wanna study, check their requirements for application for international students, and see what exam they require, what is the point. And also, it's good to know if they have a exam in their own university that can test you. For example, as I said before, my university offered this English program of intensive English, where if you graduated from that program, you would have your language requirement done. So that's what I did. I did a TOEFL exam, and I did this course in my university, because for me it was not important only to pass the exam, but it was important to be able to properly speak and understand English and be okay during my law classes, because as you know, or as you can imagine, we need a lot of the language when we study law, because we speak, we write, we listen. So it's very important to have a very good understanding of the English language. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be proficient. Not everyone speaks English perfectly, not even Americans. So have that on the back of your mind. You don't need to be perfect. You need to understand. Other question that people always ask me is if it's worth it to learn legal English before coming to the United States. I particularly think no, because unless it's a free course or you are able to pay it, or if it's accessible, anyways, it's not necessary. It's good, yes, it's good, but it's not necessary. I will explain. It's very important you learn English. You will learn English. Sorry about that. I thought my microphone was on. It's very important for you to learn English, plain English, to come to the United States. But legal English, you will learn while you are in school. So you don't need a specific legal English course to be able to understand your law classes, because you will learn during school. Not even Americans know the English language, the legal English, before they start law school. So we are all learning together. Yeah, law has its own vocabulary, but we are learning together. We are learning the terms as we read our lectures, our books, as we go deep into the course. So I prefer to save the money to apply for law school or even to pay tuition than actually invest in a legal English course. English course is very important, but legal English course is not necessary to start your course, because you will learn during the way as you go. So, but if you really want to learn something else before you start class, I do recommend having a dictionary. Usually in law school, they recommend, I'm looking here to see if I find my own. It is this one here. It's huge. I actually bought a huge version, but I would recommend you have the app, pay for the app, or buy a pocket version, because this one I didn't have a lot of experience at that time, so I bought this huge Black Law dictionary. It's huge, so it's not very convenient. I keep it home, but if you have access to the app, it's much more easier. But it's called Black's Law Dictionary. Here you are able to research a lot of the proper legal words that you'll be using or that you need. So it's very useful for foreign attorneys, foreign students. So I would recommend that. And learn a lot of writing. Legal writing is very important too, because you will be using that throughout your career, throughout your law school assignments. So if you can invest in some books, I would say most important is a dictionary and a legal writing book that teaches you the structure. I don't know everybody's background here, but in Portuguese, our grammar is very different. The structure of our sentences are different. The format of our essays is different. So everything is different. So you will need to learn, besides English, you need to learn a little bit more about writing in English, legal writing. Some schools offer tutoring, English as a second language, so you could take advantages of these things that if your school has it. Another thing, so this is a law book here. I'm sorry, I should have separated them before I started recording, but anyways, a lawyer writes. Here we also have tips for legal analysis. So I think the most difficult thing as a foreign attorney, as a foreign student is to learn the structure, grammar, legal analysis, writing is the most challenging thing we will have through law school. So a legal writing book is interesting, and this is my favorite book during law school. So my LLM, I did a master's of law before I started Juris Doctor, but this book was very important for me. Introduction to the Law and Legal System of the United States. I would recommend any book that talks about the legal system in the United States, because it tends to be different. If you, like me, came from a country where our system is civil law, you find it a little bit tricky to understand the common law system. So this book I would recommend if you have a background in a civil law country. So other tips about TOEFL. When I did the TOEFL, I didn't start a prep specific for that exam. I used my own background in English to learn, to understand, and to do the exam. It was, at the time, was a little bit difficult for me because I didn't have a lot of exposure in the United States, but was enough. I remember the exam had a lot of content that was almost high school topics. So would have biology, history, but it's good you kind of learn and understand and research more about the exam. And that's it. So my advices for today are: check how many points you need to be accepted in your law school with your TOEFL or IELTS. Check if the university has their own exam, their own proficiency exam in English, and start doing this, and buy a law dictionary that will help you in the long run. Thank you so much for being here with me. In the next video, I will start speaking a little bit more about the LLM, Master of Laws, and everything else I needed to apply for that degree. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.